Hello, my name is Marta, welcome to my channel and welcome to my Preptober cozy weekend vlog. We're just heading into the final 10 days in October and I have barely done any brainstorming for my nanowrimo project yet, which is something that we absolutely need to fix. For nanowrimo this year, I want to have a proper nano in which I actually draft a brand new book. This is gonna be my second proper nano, and the last one was in 2016, and also I wasn't using the website, so we'll be dealing with that later. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let me tell you what I'm going to be working on this year. If you've been watching my recent videos, you will know that I recently finished the second book in the Project Side series, and I am ready for a break. I am ready to do something completely different, and this is the project that I have come up with. I'm calling it Project Voice because gotta have branding. It's a cozy witchy story that takes place in a traveling magic school. My main character is a deaf and mute witch who, in a world where you need to use words in order to utter magic spells, she can't actually use her magic even though she is a magical person that has the ability to do magic if she could speak. However, she still wants to fit into the magical world and she decides that she is going to go to magic school regardless and no one can stop her. She is far too stubborn for that. Now at this point you may be thinking, oh my god, Marta is sharing actual details about a project she's working on. What is happening? Well, calm your horses. I've been wanting to experiment with being a little bit more open about my writing projects for a while. I really enjoy it when other people actually talk about their projects in detail in videos, and I always kind of want to do the same thing, but I'm too scared to do that. And Project Side is a chunky fantasy series that will absolutely take me at least a decade to finish. So we're not going to be experimenting with that because I do not want to talk too much about it and then regret it and then I'm stuck with having shared too much for a decade. However, this project is a standalone. It should be a lot shorter than Project Side, and hopefully that means it will take me a lot less time to draft. It is entirely a side project, and that is something that I've been telling myself in order to take the pressure off it, which also means that I can tell you about it in a lot more detail without feeling completely terrified of sharing too much. So that's exciting. Unfortunately, now you know the same thing I do because that's pretty much how far I've gotten. However, I am hoping that we will know more than that by the end of the weekend. I've got a Preptober checklist sort of thing, and the first thing I'm gonna be doing is doing a bunch of research. I would like to work on figuring out the location as well as the historical period, and just trying to flesh this world out a little bit because right now I've got nothing and we've got 10 days to turn this into a feasible idea with some meat to it. So let's go get to work. Hi, it's been a while since and this is why it's been a while. It's been a while since we did some baking together. Ooh, I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough flour. Let me check how much I need. Okay, I need 2 cups of flour. And this is my only package. We have just under 2 cups of flour, so we're just gonna go with that. Close enough. Let me put this away and give you some context, because apparently I cannot multitask. I'm making muffins. If you haven't guessed by now, I've been brainstorming for the last hour and a bit. And when I say brainstorming, I mean I was attempting to research and I got sidetracked. So I've been looking into witch hunting, and something kind of funny happened because I was reading up on witch hunting history, and apparently witch hunting wasn't very common in Ireland, which was my first choice of place to put this in. So I thought, maybe I should move the story to England or somewhere else in Europe. But then I thought, actually, we can just make the story be set in Ireland because that is a safer place for witches. So the school can be predominantly in Ireland, but the actual witch that is the main character is from England. And I think that works a lot better, and there's still witch hunting in Ireland, just not as much as in other places. But then while I was getting the kitchen ready to make muffins in, I put on my project playlist that I put together back in May when I did some brainstorming for this project as part of my May Chaos Rain plot bunny prompt. And I haven't noticed, but I have a lot of like Irish sort of music, like folk music type things. I only made the decision to set the story in Ireland this week. Like I don't think that was a conscious choice, but it's funny that that's the mood I thought the story was in back then, and now it's like I've taken that decision a second time. But other than reading up on the history of Ireland and then realizing most of the story is gonna be based in the countryside and isn't a historical novel whatsoever, so like I really don't need to do that much research in the first place. I started looking at actual countryside locations and like pretty places in Ireland that I could have them visit, because it is a traveling school. Like I have the idea of them having different wagons, and each of the wagons slash caravans slash whatever are different classrooms, and each teacher sort of decorates the inside in a different way, and then they also have different wagons to live in, and they can go to different places, and the classes are like the actual caravan works as a sort of podium for the teacher to sort of stand in front of and expose things, but then they're actually sitting on the grass just outside. I don't know why I like that idea so much, but something about it just makes me so happy. But that means that I can have the actual classes be in really pretty places across different countryside locations in Ireland, so I've been doing some research into those. And then I got distracted looking into some different flowers, because the original idea was for the character to attempt to become like a potion sort of herbology expert and therefore be really good at plants. But I'm thinking, if there's a different character that is really good at herbology, like properly good, and that's her genuine passion, even if she can do magic, then my actual character can have a little bit of an identity crisis over the fact that she's not as good at it. And you know, she's not that good at herbology or that interested in it, and she can't do magic, so what the hell is she doing going to magic school? Which I think is a really fun little moment for her to have. And one of the main things that I'm missing for this book is characters, because I want them to live in these caravans together, and I'm thinking 4 people per caravan is like the absolute minimum I can get away with to make this practical. That feels like too few people per caravan considering the structure of the school and stuff, but like I think we can get away with it. But that means I need 4 characters, and at this point I only have 2, plus the new herbologist character, so that's 3, so I'm missing 1 extra character that I need to come up with. But at this point I got very distracted brainstorming the new herbology expert character and giving her a whole personality and thing. Then I started brainstorming my other character, like not the main character, the other one that I already had, who I had some stuff from, but like not very much. She didn't really have a personality, she just had like a main trait and that's it. And I just ended up writing character profiles for a bunch of time this morning. That was not what I was supposed to be doing, I was supposed to be researching, but there's that. We're making progress. So, progress is progress, right? One of the other things that I've been thinking about, and that is on my to-do list for the next 10 days, is figuring out what age range this book is for, because all of the characters are children going to magic school, which implies this is a children's book or middle grade book. However, I would like to be a self-published author, and self-publishing middle grade is not exactly easy. So I've been trying to convince myself that I can turn this into a cozy adult book. You know, the sort where you've got like the main characters are in fact adults, but they're looking after children, and the children play a really big role to the story, but the point of view is from the adult character. So I've been trying to flesh out one of my teacher characters that is gonna become the main sort of witches, the deaf witches mentor during this process, who could work as the main character instead, if I wanted to do that. And I've been trying to convince myself that that is the story that I want to write, a cozy adult book with children characters who go to magic school together. And I've been telling myself, like, it's okay if I don't get it right the first draft, like I can try one point of view and then go for a different one in the next draft. But honestly, the more I think about the story and the more I try to brainstorm it, the more I realize this is a middle grade story. I could turn it into an adult story if I forced it into that mold, but that's not the story I want to tell. And if I don't know how to publish it, like if that means, okay, I'm gonna have to figure out traditional publishing now, or I can self-publish it and be okay with the idea that most readers will just be people that know me and people from my own audience and not children. That's okay. This is absolutely supposed to be a project that's for fun, so I don't think I should be thinking about publication. So yeah, I'm just gonna take that box off and say that all characters are between the ages of 12 to 14, except for the teachers, which will play a big role in the story, but it's not their story, they're just mentors. It's the children's story, and that's okay, that's what I want to do, so that's what we're doing. So now that the muffins are in the oven, I think I am going to have a quick bit of lunch and then we are going into town because I have to run a couple of errands, and I figured I might as well take my laptop with me and sit in a coffee shop for a bit and continue brainstorming outside. But I gotta run some errands first, so how much time we have at the coffee shop will depend on how quickly I get through all of those errands. Potentially might have some time for Christmas shopping as well. I know it's October, but never too early to Christmas shop. Hello, we are back home. That was a really productive afternoon. I got through my errands surprisingly quickly. It took a lot less time than I thought it would, and I ended up being able to spend the whole 3 hours at that little coffee shop. I had a chai latte and I did some work. I ended up brainstorming some of the magic system. This is something that I'd already started previously, but I hadn't really made that many decisions about it yet. On top of that, I also ended up brainstorming my 4th characters. So I now have my cast of characters, which are the 4 girls living together in their little wagon dorm traveling caravan thing, and the tutors. So I ended up coming up with like a tutoring system where even though they go to different lessons, they've got one tutor assigned to each wagon for like private study, and that is the one teacher character that I already had. I am going to need to figure out which lessons they're gonna have so I can come up with teachers for all the other lessons, but this is the one that's actually an important teacher character. And after I did that, I started thinking about what all the different things would be, and I ended up with just like not an outline as such, like definitely not a chapter by chapter outline or even a part by part outline, but I guess you could call it a bullet point synopsis, and I'm feeling pretty confident about it. But yeah, that was very productive, and I also ended up, while running my errands, because apparently I can't help myself, going into a little bookshop, and I thought I'd do a little haul for you. So I went in with the excuse of looking for a couple of different things. The first one would be History of Ireland and History of Witch Hunting type books, as well as Irish folklore. I didn't find any of those things, so it was quite a small bookshop, and I don't live in Ireland, so you know. What I did find is a couple of books on plants. So the first book I got is this one, which is the Hedgerow Handbook, and this actually has little recipes and bits and pieces that you can do with foraging things. It is, of course, illustrated. It is so pretty. And yeah, there's like culinary uses and medicinal uses, which I can draw inspiration from for some of the potions that these witches will be making. And then the second book I got is this one, which is the British Common Wildflower Guide. And this is very much like pictured text sort of thing and not much else. So it just tells you things like the habitat, size of the leaves, description for the flowers and stuff like that. But there are a lot more plants in this one than in that one. And I feel like for this one, the way I would use it would just be looking at the pictures and trying to come up with something that I like visually, and then getting the name from that and researching it online. Did I technically need either of these books? Could I have done everything online instead? Probably. But is it gonna make me feel more inspired to sit down at my laptop with a cup of tea and these really gorgeous illustrated books next to me as I research different plants for my witches to pick up and use in potions. Yes, it will, and I think that is worth it, personally. Hello, happy Sunday. I was going to say good morning, but it is in fact not morning anymore. It is just after 2 p.m. This morning I had a driving lesson and then I've just spent some time catching up on cleaning. I made some lunch and now I'm ready to get back into things. And I figured something fun that we can do today is actually go ahead and create an account and like a project page on the NaNoWriMo website. That's something that I've never done before, and I figured I might as well take you along for the ride. I think from what I've seen other people do, that they'll like ask me questions about my book, which will hopefully be really helpful in helping me think about it a little more and see if there's anything that I've missed. But yeah, I don't really know what to expect, so I'm just going to go and open the website and figure out how to do this. So I'm obviously not gonna show you the bit of me actually putting in my new password and all of that, but we've got an account now, and apparently November starts in 9 days, 10 hours, 45 minutes and 51 seconds and counting. I'm loving the countdown, and I've just verified my email address. That should be all sorted now. What do I do now? Set a goal, I guess? Oh, join with a new novel. There it is. I'm gonna call it Project Voice, which is not the title of my novel, but that's what we're going with. I don't know what the title of the novel is, in case you were wondering. NaNoWriMo 2023. I've written 0 words, and those are all of the badges I can earn. This is fun. Okay. How do I do things next? Ooh. Organize my projects? Okay, here's where I can actually fill in stuff. So, what is the genre? Fantasy-ish? Sort of? Let's just go for fantasy for now. Project summary. Now I have to actually think for this one. A cozy, witchy fantasy about a deaf mute witch who needs to find her own place. Wants to find her own place in the magical community. Who can't do magic, but still wants to find her own place in the magical community. Good enough for now. I do not have a excerpt. I have a work in progress Pinterest, but I'm not gonna share it for now, and my playlist is also work in progress and currently private, and I can put in a cover apparently. I do have a cover. It is not on this laptop. Okay, I have downloaded my cover from Canva and I'm just uploading it, and that looks like it has worked. So, save changes. Oh, there we go, my cover's updated. That's fun, I like that. I should add a profile picture at some point as well. Let's not worry about that now. I don't know why I thought that you could add like character profiles and stuff in here. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right place. Either way, on the topic of character profiles though, I have been making my own little character profiles in Notion. So a lot of these characters don't have names yet, but I have been adding very basic things for them, and this is my main character that does have a little bit of something filled in. And when I was brainstorming in the coffee shop yesterday, I didn't have any internet, so I ended up doing all of my brainstorming in Word, but I would like to transfer some of this into here, and I have left myself this little bit of space to add a picture of them. I don't think I am realistically going to be able to fill in pictures for all of these characters today, but I'm thinking it'll be kind of cool to just attempt to draw my main character and just have a very clear idea of what she looks like before I start writing. And that is basically what I want to do for the rest of the day. So that was fun. I was planning on fiddling around a bit in my brand new Project Voice sketchbook, which, by the way, I am absolutely obsessed with this cover. I was gonna put washi tape on it and I'm glad I didn't, it just looks much better by itself. But other than that, I've been working on my little character. And I was planning on doing a digital version on this, but it's gotten a little bit late, so I don't think we're gonna do that. I was also working on this earlier and then I put it away and went to have dinner. And now that I'm like coming back to it, I feel like I like the first one I did a lot better than the final one. I don't know. I think there's elements that I like from all of them, but overall I think the first one is the best one. I might end up going for longer hair. I liked the idea of having short hair, but longer hair does look better. Anyway, so it is Sunday evening and this is a cozy weekend vlog, so we know what that means.
What does that mean?
It's the end of the vlog.
Oh.
Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, I am very excited to share more of the process for this book with you. It's been really fun brainstorming it this weekend and I'm really looking forward to working on it next month. As you saw earlier, I did make a brand new NaNoWriMo page, so if you want to add me as a friend on the NaNoWriMo website, feel free to do that. I will leave the link to my profile down below. And yeah, I hope that you have a wonderful week. See you very soon. Bye bye.